Hello everyone and welcome back to Infraspace. Last episode we were working through building the magnetic field generator, got about halfway through it. This episode we're hopefully going to finish that up and probably increase our city size a little bit. Now you'll notice before the magnetic field generator used to be in the center of this crater here, and it will be once it's done. However, I found out it is free to move during construction. So if I come back over here to say this carbon processor, if I move it, it costs materials to move it, right? And the farther you move it, the more it costs. Even if I put it back down in the same spot, it still costs materials. I found out on the magnetic field generator, which I moved over to the steel concrete, or I'm sorry, the steel factory, that if I move this, it doesn't cost anything. So you can move it wherever you want while it's under construction without penalty. So since right now it's requesting steel, I put it right next to the steel factory so steel doesn't have to travel as far to get there. So good stuff there. Once this is done, it's going to need a superconducting coil to operate, which is right here. Requires iridium alloy, radiation cores, and microchips. So I'm going to build a factory for that, and we basically already have a factory for that right here. Iridium alloy is being manufactured, radiation cores is being manufactured here. So really all I have to do is ship in microchips. So I'm going to start increasing the size of this factory and ship in microchips and build some superconducting coils. Let's get started. So let's start by putting down some supercoil factories just along that road so that everything can get to them. Then I'll put a road out from the train station and that can deliver microchips into the system just for these 4 factories. Make sure everything's powered up, and then get to work expanding this district. So basically stretch these roads out a little bit, give me some room to work with, and then start putting down the factories. I'm basically going to double this district in size, so for some reason that road went a little funky on me, so I had to delete it. And then there's really no reason this road shouldn't be a highway. So there's no buildings attached to it, so we can easily turn it into a highway, stretch it out. And then expand the district to make sure everything's inside the district. And put down some iridium alloy factories. I realized that this is not hooked up to the right road. So to keep the flow of traffic coming this way, I have to put a one-way road coming from here down and change these all into one-way roads and then put them connected back up to the top road. This just keeps the flow of traffic going in one direction so that it doesn't get backed up as easily. And then put down some nanotube factories. Actually, I'm going to put down a road first so that they connect to it when I put them down. And put the recycling center in so I don't forget about it. And some nanotube factories, followed by some carbon processors. And then I'll just repeat this process again to probably double it in size so that we have enough going forward. Alright, that should get us started. Got quite a few of them here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Oh, I lost track. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 35 of them. So that should get us started for a little bit. Still waiting on this steel delivery to the magnetic field generator. 8,300 of 10,000, so we're getting closer. So in the meantime, I guess we'll expand our city a little bit. I had to expand the microchip factory to put down all those alloy ones. So I added a whole other chunk up here on top of the screen here. So good stuff there. And I guess we'll just lay out this city, this last side of the crater. Let's get the stadiums in first. So put one here, and then I need 8 blocks in between each stadium. So I'll delete those roads and put a stadium in here, another 8 blocks up, and another stadium. That'll take care of the stadiums. And we'll do a park every other bay, just to limit the traffic from how much traffic is generated by these parks. And we'll put some food into the district. Won't need a whole lot to start with, so we'll just put this down with the soil fertilization factory so that it doubles the output. And put schools in line up with the parks. Every other bay covers the whole area that way. And then some oxygen processors for our happy residents. That one was out of the powered area, so I just deleted it. Put down some houses, and we'll start growing the town a little bit. Make sure everything's powered up and we're good to go. Alright, so I'll add them in groups of about 40 or so, just so I can keep an eye on the production overview. Make sure we're not running out of computers or home robots or something like that, so we don't get in some kind of downgrading spiral. While we're doing that, we completed the spaceship project, which was the FTL engine, so now everything has a 5% bonus. I started fuel cells next. Requires methane and iridium alloy, which we just put a whole bunch of down. So that'll give a 5% boost to everything, so even like carbon processors get a 5% boost. Water manufacturers get a 5% boost. I gotta find one that's running, so that's 105, you can see it right here. But it also applies to miners, so very nice, 5% bonus to those. And basically every factory we've put down has a 5% bonus. So there's 3 of those, so by the time we're done we'll have a 15% bonus to everything for nothing. So very nice stuff. This is at 9,200 out of 10,000, so we're getting there. Okay, we should be just about there. Let's see what happens. Should be pretty close. There you go. So now it's requiring 400 neural processors and 100 superconducting coils. Now nothing can get to it on this road right here because it's on a one-way road right here. So I'm going to have to move it back to where it was. There's not as many parts that need delivered, so I think we can safely move it back. So let's go ahead and do that. And it's free to move, so if we find we need to move it again, we can go ahead and do that. Okay, so one of the problems with this setup is these things are running low on microchips. One, that's because they're super efficient here, 147%, so they're burning through microchips pretty quickly. The reason they're always requesting microchips, even though we're producing enough microchips, is they request them from over here. So by the time they request them, it boards the train, goes around, gets dropped off at this train station, and then this train station picks them up and takes them over to this train station. And then they get delivered to there. So they're sitting empty for a while by the time because they've already burned through their buffer, because they need 10 of them per production cycle, so it's quite a bit. This really needs to have a higher buffer capacity, probably closer to 100 instead of 40, so that way it has time to transport them before it buffers through. But anyway, so the solution here is going to have to be to build a small microchip factory local here and have some of them shipped in just from this little district right here. So I'll build that real quick. It's just going to use copper and iron to make circuits, and then I think sand for the microchips. Yeah. So let's get that going. So let's start by putting some iron mines down. I'm going to shorten these roads up so that we can have 2 separate districts here so that they're not attached to each other. I'll have to shrink this existing district and paint a new district in so that we can control exactly where this iron goes to. And I'll do the same thing for the copper. And just set up the districts while I'm at it so that everything stays where it's supposed to be. And stretch out a road to deliver to the existing network here. Connect up the copper as well. And then start setting up the circuit factory. I got an initial layout down that I liked here, but it's basically the same thing we've done before with a lower road and a higher road to control the flow of traffic. So iron and copper comes in from the top, travels down to the bottom road. The circuits come out and go to the bottom road, and then it circles back around to the microchip factory. Now I did realize I can't really determine where circuits are being delivered to which microchip factory, so that has to be a highway instead of a one-way road. And I'll just repeat this process basically a couple of times till we have enough microchips to cover the supercoil factories. Alright, while we were working on that, I kind of forgot about the magnetic field generator. I believe it finished that stage, and it's on to the last stage. So it now is requesting AI control units, which all have been delivered already, and 200 supercoils. We're at 120 already. So this should be done in no time. This should be the last stage. So it should be up and running after this. So good stuff. I'm going to go finish expanding the circuit area over here so that I'll probably just double this in size just so that it has some extra to give over to the supercoils. Okay, so when I was designing this, I forgot to put recycling centers in. So I moved some stuff around and put 2 recycling centers in now. So we should be good to go. Covers the whole area. We'll probably have to expand this area, but we'll just have to wait and see. I was wondering why it was kept requesting these circuits, these green icons showing up. It means we don't have enough of them, and that's because I didn't have the recycling centers in. So anyways, while we're doing that, the magnetic field generator completed. Go down and take a look at it. There it is there, pretty nice looking, pretty fancy. Now it requires 5 supercoils, which we just built, and 1 red science every 24 seconds to operate. So our science will fire back up now. Our science hasn't been working in forever because we finished the research tree a long time ago. But so now I guess we'll find out whether we got everything designed appropriately, because everything's going to kick back on now and science is going to run. But this thing also requires, if you notice, it requires a huge amount of power, 2,500 megawatts. So we'll have to go expand our power grid real quick to do that because it's now undersupplied here. It looks like we're only producing 10,000 and we need 12,000. So go add a whole bunch of solar panels and we should be good to go. So let's put some solar panels in. There's really not a whole lot to go over here. I just squeeze them in where I can. And then we'll just fill in this area and then check the network to see how much power's on it. See if there's enough yet, which there's not. So I'll just put a few more down and call it a day. These solar panels are basically free. They don't require any workers. So, alright, it's been running for a while now, and the field magnetic generator is only getting supplied intermittently. Not quite sure why that is. Maybe because it burns through so many at a time, 5 at a time. Because I have materials being delivered down to these villages here with no problem whatsoever, so I don't know why it can't get to here on time. But we're going to try something. And I'm going to try to sneak a train station in here and tie it into up here somehow, and delete this road, see if this is the bottleneck. If not, the easy solution is to move it up to where the supercoil factories is, but I kind of wanted it in this crater, so we're going to try it with the train station and see what happens. Alright, so let's get started. Let's start by putting a train track above this one so I can free up the station below it so that I can connect that one into the city instead. So really I just got to move this train line up and connect it back into the existing route. I'm trying to pause it so that there's no trains on the track so I can delete this section here. And then move it up a little bit so that we can connect it into the existing train station. And unpause it to see if a train comes in, which it's not going to because it's not connected over here. And now it seems to be flowing just fine. So that frees up the station below it for me to snake it into the city. So I'll start by just running a track through this over this road here. And same coming in here, I'll have to move these power poles. But should be able to snake it through here now and just go right into this train station on the first track here. And then reconnect it back over to the other side. And I gotta put a train station in somewhere down here for it to unload at. Right there looks good. Just have to move these roads out of the way so I can have somewhere to unload to. And basically just finish running the track and we should be up and running. Alright, so I got the train line in. Saves a lot of time of material on the roads. Comes up into here. However, it still doesn't seem to be good enough. It's definitely helped. It's definitely running a lot more. You can see it's about to run out here. So I guess the solution for now is to move it closer to the factory, the supercoil factory. If we come up with another solution, we'll try it out, but I'm assuming it costs to move it now. No, still doesn't. Well, that's nice. So let's put it all the way up here for now. We'll see if that makes a difference. Alright, so that seems to have worked. We now are loaded up with around 35, 34 supercoils at all times. So it seems to be running full time now at 100%, which has made the crater turn green a little bit over here. This is where all our terraforming equipment is. So it's starting to look pretty nice. We'll do a quick, I filled in the city over here the rest of the way. So it's a complete village around the crater now. See if I can take a quick zoom around. The city here, through that rock. But yeah, so we got the whole city surrounded now, surrounding the crater. So it looks pretty good. Our population is still growing as these get upgraded, but we're at a little over 15,000 right now. We only have 10,000 jobs employed, so 5,000 workers to work with, so pretty good. So that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching.